When you travel the world for a year, you see and experience so much, and we want to share our daily travels with you. So, welcome to Storytime with the Happy Hoppies. When we were looking first to go to Israel, as Christians, we kind of had this idea that you have to hire a Christian tour guide to be able to see Israel and really understand, all the different culture and things like that. We have a lot of friends that we know that have done groups there, and granted, you probably do get a lot more history.
I went online and actually looked. First we asked a couple people what the prices normally are for those kinds of things. I actually reached out to a Christian tour guide in Israel, in Jerusalem, and he came back with the pricing. It was like really high. It was like, I think it was like $600 per person per day, or at least $600 per day.
And that's just more than we were spending in places. If you were just going to Israel, I get it, but we were seeing so many other places and we couldn't spend that much in just one country.
Now, quick note, I am all for people to be able to make, a good living. And, those prices might come down a little bit if you have a bigger group. We were a very small group of 2, so, it makes sense. Yeah, it's going to be a higher price point because he doesn't have a bunch, 20 people to divide that up between. So I get it. But anyway, in Europe, there's all these free walking tours that are tip-based. You can join, you can tip, $20, whatever, you feel like it's worth, based on the quality of the tour and the information and all this. So, I found this website where it actually was like $60 for a tour, or maybe even 30 or 40. So it was really affordable. I think it was per person, but, pretty decent. And I was looking through and just trying to find if somebody said, hey, I'm a Christian or I'm a Jew or whatever, just to kind of have a similar lens to explain everything through that we're seeing. And so I reached out to the tour guide in Jerusalem that I talked to and asked if he knew anyone that was on this website that was a Christian that he could recommend. I figured there's got to be somebody, right? He's like, no, I don't know any Christian that does a tour for that cheap. We're like, what? So if you're a Christian or Jew, if you are looking to do this kind of tour in Israel, if you live in Israel, there is space, there is an opportunity for you to do low cost, walking tour for somebody if, you got some time and you want to do that. Obviously, if you can charge more, make more money doing it, more power to you, that's great. But for, if your passion is just to show some friends around and you want to just give a free walking tour like is done in every major city in Europe, there's opportunities there. So
for us, we have all the Ray Vanderlaan tapes. He gives more the biblical context for Israel.
Nowadays you can look up all the points of interest on Google really easily. You can pull up a Wikipedia article and read something. Of course, we've read through our Bibles. You can pull up, something in the Bible if you want to read that along with it too.
Which we had done later on in the trip. Yeah,
up in Galilee when we get up there. But anyway, so there's different ways to do the trip. Not saying one way is right or wrong. Obviously, like Lisa said, that's one place you're going to and you want the full immersion experience. Yes, by all means do that. But if you're trying to do something on a budget and you're like, well, that's cost prohibitive and I couldn't do that, or I'm traveling the world, so I'm seeing a bunch of different places and I'm only going to be here a few days and on a limited budget, you can still see everything and have a great time, and it's amazing on a low-cost budget.
Or you might think, hey, I really want to go to the Holy Land. I really want to see Israel, but there's no way I could pay $5,000 to go on a group tour to do that. You can do it much more affordably. And so I hope that this encourages you, maybe in our last video, we talked about a unique way, but we routed our trip to get to Israel. Maybe you fly to Europe first, and then you fly to down to Israel. There's so many unique ways. I don't know, I just have so much fun finding the best route possible.
So I'm just gonna say, so that is just, our heart and the bottom line of this channel and our experiences, travel is possible to anybody.
Yep.
So if you look at all these places and oh, that's a far off, untouchable dream, I could never go there or do that because it would cost way too much money. That's hopefully this channel, seeing our experience has provided some hope and some insight and some ideas to kind of get you the wheels turning on how you can go to some of these places right now on a very small budget. We ended up averaging $50 per day per person over the whole trip. So anything's possible. So there's getting the points, be able to get a free flight over. That's the bulk of your expense. and then living like a local, you know, eating from food from a grocery store, traveling on public transportation, all these things. So that if your main goal is to go and experience a place, then it's by all means is totally doable on a budget. So don't think it's only for the millionaires. Not at all.
Yep.
You're not. So
Nope.
that's that.
Yeah, and so what we did, I'll give you a general idea of our whole route that we took in Israel. We flew into Tel Aviv, we took a bus to Jerusalem, and we took a bus back to Tel Aviv where we rented a car, and we did a one-way rental, and we dropped it down in Eilat. Eilat. And so then we flew out from Eilat onward. And so that's the route that we did. And so in the next couple of episodes, we'll go over all of that we did. Yes, that is what our channel is about. And we
traveling on a budget.
Travel on a budget. So you can see so much and experience so much. And if your main goal is just to experience the culture, immerse yourself there, and, you know, be able to see those things, you can totally do it.
And it's amazing.
Yes.
You do not have to spend a ton of money.
That's exactly right.
Rise, Lord.